Pokemon HeartGold and SoulSilver are probably the best remakes within the Pokemon franchise. Out of all the reviews that I've seen on YouTube, they failed to capitalize on how much content these games offer for what it was. This video isn't a review on the game, what it does, and what you can do with the quality of life improvements this game has and such. This is just a simple discussion as to why these games are so good with the content that they produce for us players to play. You can even go as far as to say that the creators of these games were pretty much on crack when making these games simply because of how good of a product it was. So what exactly am I talking about? Let's dive in, shall we? In Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum, they were pretty much the guinea pig games of what they were capable of on the new hardware, being the Nintendo DS. Pokemon HeartGold and SoulSilver established a better base of this and truly brought us the true definitive look to Generation 4. This isn't to say that Diamond and Pearl and Platinum look bad, they were good in every way possible and each of their own perspective during their times. Platinum especially isn't something to look down on, as we've seen the build-up to what was presented to us in these remakes specifically. If you've been living under a rock, then you should know that these Pokemon games are remakes of Pokemon Gold and Silver. 16 gym badges, 2 regions to explore, having access to Pokemon through generations 1 through 4, having Pokemon following you, and so much more. And that so much more is the content. The content that the game offered is what we're going to be talking about here. With remakes comes new enhancements and elements. Let's talk about the Pokélathon, an event where you take your own Pokemon and participate in events to build that synergy with your Pokemon. Something that you must acknowledge is the sprite work that went into this game specifically, and the amount of effort and design that went into making these usable for outside activities such as the event showcased here. The time it took to design the normal Pokemon and their shiny forms, and to be able to take Pokemon to a whole new level in these sorts of things, and to create something relatively new to the scene with these enhancements made to the original Generation 2 Pokemon games. How many of you actually took the time out of your day to spend a couple hours to doing all these sorts of activities with the different classes that the game has to offer with the Pokélathon, and to try to get a new record and to best yourself and to overall just have fun with the different types of Pokemon that you're going up against? The amount of legendary content in this game is absolutely ridiculous, and in a very good way as well. Something I'd like to stress is that if you put this into perspective, Pokemon HeartGold and SoulSilver took elements from every generation and put it all together into a Generation 2 Pokemon remake. The closest thing off the top of my head that did something like this was Pokemon Black and White 2. Now you can make the argument that Generation 3 Pokemon games had events like this to obtain certain legendary Pokemon, but all of that was locked behind a mystery gift that a lot of people just did not have the opportunity to get, which therefore was not obtained through the base game itself. Pokemon HeartGold and SoulSilver both had opportunities to obtain legendary Pokemon from across all generations in the base game itself. We don't see this in X and Y, and we don't see this in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. There's a significant difference between Hoopa using its rings for you to go through to catch legendary Pokemon at different locations, than actually adventuring out and seeing the Pokemon yourself, depending on the quest that you're going to do, and go and catch that set legendary Pokemon. Now you might bring the argument saying that, well, Arceus wasn't legitimately able to be obtained only through Mystery Gift. Yeah, you're right, because more people were actually aware of how to actually get Arceus from Toys R Us back when that was being distributed, as opposed to the distributions to make more people aware of what was going on and back in Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald days. Also, when Aura's just going around the entire region collecting a specific item to go to a Hoopa ring makes absolutely no sense when Hoopa itself can just literally teleport the Pokemon that you want to see to you without any hesitation. It makes no sense. Does that make sense? Like, sure, Oras is implementing legendary Pokemon from across the generations up until that point, but there's no actual specific events for them. You just go into random locations of Hoopa rings. There's no actual event type of ordeals within the game itself. Now, if you don't buy the argument of me saying that you're more aware of what's going on in Generation 4 era of Pokemon as opposed to Generation 3 based off distribution events, well, in Diamond and Pearl you can actually do the Void glitch, which actually leads you to actually having access to Hall of Origin Arceus, which then you can transfer to HeartGold and SoulSilver to do the event. And if by chance you had the Mystery Gift distributed event, you can also take that Arceus and do the event twice as opposed to once, and actually have access to 2 of the legendary Pokemons out of the 3 as opposed to only having access to 1. So me saying that you have access to doing everything in the base game itself is actually true and possible. And since we're on the topic of legendaries, obviously having access to the Kanto region results in you being able to obtain Zapdos, Moltres, and Articuno, and to top all of that off, after you go and catch them, you can go ahead and get Mewtwo. This is pretty much a complete set of the Kanto region. No brainer, you're traveling to the region, but it's great being able to travel to these specific locations in these remakes to obtain these legendary Pokemon. Going through the main game itself, Entei and Raikou becoming roaming legendaries after you go and set down the storyline element for this game when you enter the Burn Tower, and having to go ahead and track down Suicune, which delivers a very nice touch to give you a storyline element of Suicune, and finally feeling that accomplishment once you finally track it down in the Kanto region past Cerulean City. What's also nice about these games is that regardless of the version that you actually get, you still have access to both box art legendary Pokemon, being Ho-Oh and Lugia. It doesn't matter what Pokemon you wanted early, it's just up to you at whatever legendary Pokemon you want at level 45 compared to level 70 at the end of the game. Now, of course, both have beautiful cinematic cutscenes to indicate the menacing presence of these two legendaries, but to top off the Johto selection of legendaries, you also have the opportunity to do the Celebi event, which provides a lot of content and lore to understand Team Rocket and your rival Silver throughout the game. Now, I understand that Celebi isn't a Pokemon that you can have access to in the base game, but it's cool to note that the game acknowledges that there is still lore information to learn about for specific characters. At the end of the day, minus Celebi, you have access to 9 legendary Pokemon from both regions right off the bat. In Kanto, depending on the version that you are playing, you can either get Latios or Latios, and with an event item, you can actually get the counterpart within the same game. Since we're not going to count the event item, that puts us at 10 legendary Pokemon so far. Another version exclusive legendary that you can also catch is Kyogre and Groudon, and once you obtain both of those Pokemon caught from the same location, you can actually present that to Professor Oak, which he will then give you the Jade Orb for you to go and catch Rayquaza at the same location that you caught Kyogre and Groudon. That's 13 legendary Pokemon right there. Then finally, there's the Arceus event, which is probably my favorite event in this entire game that you can do. Taking Arceus that you obtained in the 12th movie, or the ones that you get from the Hall of Origins, you can activate the trigger for the Ruins of Elf event, where you meet a person that is doing some research and then leads you to the Sinnoh Ruins, and you stand in a specific area to choose between Palkia, Dialga, and Giratina. If you obtained Arceus through the Hall of Origin, you can do this event twice like I mentioned before, and again going back to the Arceus being an event type of ordeal, you can technically not count this, but if you are including one of the Eon Pokemon and Celebi, the total amount of legendary Pokemon that you can obtain in this game is 19 legendaries. That is a lot for a Pokemon game, and it's beautiful, to which we should see more of this type of thing for the future going into 2022, and I know that Sword and Shield did this thing, but their legendaries got carried by the DLC and at the base game itself. A special mention that I'd like to bring up is the Spiky Pichu event. Literally just take it to the same place where you take the Celebi, and you just get a neat interaction between the Pichus and an old man, and just an event bonus type of ordeal. But I thought it was worth mentioning because hey, it's content and that's the point of this video, right? But even along your way as you meet Champion Steven from the Hoenn region, and actually lets you pick from one of the 3 Hoenn starters to keep. During the Arceus event, you get to meet Cynthia along your way, and on top of that, you encounter Lance during the main game itself. That's 3 champions excluding Wallace if we're not counting Emerald. When was the last time any other Pokemon game other than Black and White did we see this many champions in one game? Professor Oak gives you an option to choose one of the 3 Kanto starters, and it sucks we didn't get the chance to pick something from Sinnoh, but hey, I mean, that's still a lot of Pokemon that you can pick from. On the topic of characters that you can meet along the way, something really cool that I find about Gen 2 is the storyline and how it connects to Gen 1. Obviously Gen 2 is the sequel, so seeing all the callbacks, for example, meeting Blue and learning about him really recalled the past adventures, which makes you feel the connection between the 2 games. With being able to go back and re-challenge gym leaders in the Johto and Kanto region, you're able to do a bit of a quest to find them all over the region again, and it gives you a bit of an incentive to see what their personalities were like and what they're essentially up to. After collecting their phone numbers, you're able to go back to their gyms and re-challenge them, or if I recall correctly, there's also a dojo that you can go to and you can see most of them there as well and re-battle them. You get to see their up-to-date teams in the current generation that you're playing in, and I believe Kreischer Wake and Gym Leader Maylene are also making a cameo within different parts of the game, but I do believe those 2 are the only gym leaders from Sinnoh that actually make their cameo in HeartGold and SoulSilver. Speaking of battles, after you defeat the Elite Four and you become the champion, you make your way to Mount Silver and whatnot, and you just go ahead and venture to the top. You're prepared to battle the most iconic Pokemon trainer figure known to mankind, Red. Right, there's no introduction needed. This is probably the best fight in any Pokemon game's history, simply because of the meaning behind the fight specifically. And I bet you were not ready, just as how I wasn't ready at all to fight his high-level team of Pokemon. And nothing was more spectacular and amazing than that moment. And I'm sure many can agree. A special mention that I want to bring up is when you're teaming up with your rival Silver and you get the opportunity to battle Claire and Lance in a double battle. I thought this was like legit a fan fiction coming true, because literally I never thought I'd see anything like this in the game, and I personally enjoyed the crap out of it. I just wish we got to see this sort of thing more often in the future games, but slowly that just died off. However, something I was very happy to see, despite it not making too much sense location-wise, was the battle frontier brought in from Platinum. Regardless if it makes sense or not for the Johto region trainers to go and fight at a Sinnoh's frontier facility, I'm just glad it was brought back because of how amazing the facility was, right? Oraz is in pain, but the HeartGold and SoulSilver era was striving. The Safari Zone makes its return, and so does the bug catching contest. Like, literally everything has been made back into this remake and has been implemented from other aspects to this game, has its connectivity, has its far reaches for you to feel like this is actually the peak of Generation 4 and that there's nothing being left out. And with that, I'm going to leave everything at that point. If you guys think I missed out on anything that I should have brought up into this video that I forgot about, let me know in the comment section down below, but I'm pretty sure I've covered everything that I wanted to talk about these remakes. Do you guys like HeartGold and SoulSilver? If not, let me know, and if you do, let me know in the comment section down below. If you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure you guys leave a like. And last but not least, the YouTube memberships are finally here. You guys can choose if you want to support the YouTube channel for as little as $1, with all the benefits and perks listed and available to you depending on the tier that you pick and everything that you choose. And the moment you decide to become a member, all your perks and benefits start going into effect immediately. For those of you that are not members, nothing will change here on the YouTube channel, but if you would choose to further support the channel with your wallet, that is completely up to you, and it's very appreciated and it goes a long way. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.